What is going on, guys? It's Steeler here, back again with RDX. It feels so good, I must say. Thank you guys so much for showing up. The drought is over, well, at least when it comes to the podcast. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Inside Xbox, Spiderman, a new update, a ton of crap. But as always, I've got to introduce the people that power the show along with me. The best panel in the biz right now. So, Luca, what's going on with you?
Hey,
welcome back.
Yes, what's up? What's up? Happy to be back on your channel. You know, I know that you were just hiding out on my channel.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to have RDX back. I think we're gonna have a good time tonight. Lots of interesting news has come out in the last couple of weeks.
Hell yeah, we're gonna have a good time. Colt Eastwood, the naughty dog of YouTube. Welcome back, brother.
Man, I gotta like shake off all the rust because it seems like forever since RDX, and we're like right in the middle of like nonstop gaming until the end of the year. So I'm happy to be here.
Mm-hmm. And you know, as we go along, I want to thank everybody that's showing up. Inside Xbox was today. We kind of had a scheduling conflict, and I was like, well, we want to watch it too, right? We're fans of Xbox. We don't know what they're doing, and we want to talk about it. So we kind of moved the show back, but then the show didn't run as long, so it's kind of in between. So for those of you that are here early, we appreciate it. Fonzarelli, he's back on RDX. I don't know if you guys knew, but we had an episode of RDX a few weeks ago on Lucas' channel. That was Fonz's first week back. And welcome back to the channel, brother.
Captain Neutral is back.
Oh, that was intentional. That was intentional. Yeah, welcome back, man. How you been?
I've been good, man. Been playing my games, doing all that fun stuff, having fun out there, trying to be more positive in the community. And I think we need more of that.
Yeah, I would agree, man. I would definitely agree. And speaking of positivity, the goat petter himself, D Batch.
What's up?
Welcome back to the channel, man.
Yeah, man. That break was too long, man. Too long. Good to be back, man. I've been playing some Far Cry, and honestly tell you, I'm having sleepless nights because I'm on baby watch. My wifey is about to drop this baby any second, any minute.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The beginning of the end.
Well, that would have been 2 kids ago, so yeah, I'm already screwed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're already fucked. Well, either way, it's good to have you back on the show. You know, anything you guys want to kind of run across, cover real quick before we get into things? I don't know. I am multitasking here, but you know, once again, it just feels really good to be back on the channel. We did have, what was that you were talking about, Lucas? Some guy was saying that I was hiding out on your channel or whatever. What was going on there?
Basically, the guy was accusing you of being afraid of people's responses to your Sea of Thieves thoughts, and so he thought that, you know, we had RDX on my channel in response to you being afraid. And I was just like, his computer just wasn't working. And then he was like, listen, Luca, don't cover for him, okay? Like, here's the proof here that he's been doing RDX on his channel all this time, but now he suddenly changes his mind. I'm like, okay.
So what you're saying is there's a dumb motherfucker out there.
I mean, I don't know, man. Shit's a little
yeah. It's pretty bad. Hey, sorry if you're a fan of the show, bud, but I mean, I tried doing RDX the same day that we went to Lucas' channel. I tried doing it here, but I was stuck in the new YouTube layout. I didn't know it. They are removing the option to go back to the old YouTube, so I didn't know how to work the new one, and I had launched and tried to do everything there. I mean, people saw the stream. So we said, fuck it, let's do a Lucas channel. And now I've got the laptop up and running. I got a new PC on the way for those wondering. Massive, just ridiculous failures on the old one. So do not buy a cyber power PC. From my experience anyway, not, I'll never go down that road again. So
they are the AIDS of the PC world, and you got it on your rig, bro.
Yeah, I got AIDS on the PC, and I went and bought a different one, and in a week or two I'll have content on it. Can't wait to make more videos the right way, the kind of gameplay, the kind I like. So hang in there, guys. I do appreciate it either way. Let's get into the topics. Inside Xbox, initial thoughts, and this extends to the chat because, of course, we do this for you. We want to know what you think about the performance, what your expectations were. Are you annoyed that people think that this show is supposed to be some kind of E3 news drop every single time, like, even though they've already said what Inside Xbox is, a monthly fan service to keep you up to date on some new stuff and to inform you on some stuff you may not know about, but it's nothing like meant for E3. They've even kind of clarified on this, but people are still like, it's trash, there's no E3 news. Well,
it's communication. it's communication, which Microsoft does kind of good on some things they don't. But yeah, it's just an opportunity for them to talk about stuff that you would never talk about at E3. You wouldn't spend 10 minutes at E3 talking about light and dark mode and variable refresh rate and all that stuff. So like it if you want. Don't like it if you don't like it.
And they talked about a lot more than that. I mean, there was a few decent announcements. I mean, like I said, I was talking to people earlier today, and I've actually said this on Twitter. This is not something that's supposed to blow your mind. This is a show where they're going to it's kind of like they had the show before, Inside Xbox. It's old. They got rid of it. They brought it back. It's kind of the same thing, but ramped up, right? Bigger budget. They've got a lot more people involved and bigger kind of announcements, like behind the scenes. Like next month, they said State of Decay 2. You're going to see a lot of stuff on that game, and I'm looking forward to that. Just like Sea of Thieves really enjoyed April's for the behind-the-scenes stuff, like fans of the game really got to see some really cool stuff about Sea of Thieves there. Same thing for next month with State of Decay 2. So that's what it is. It's kind of their little way of giving you a little bit of inside stuff. It's nothing like E3. E3 is a few months away. Of course, you're going to save it for that, right? I mean, that's just common sense, right? Or
no, that's common sense, dealer.
Okay.
I thought it was a much better show than their last going, and I thought they dropped a few Easter eggs in there. They dropped, Easter egg for Splinter Cell. The next one, they dropped an Easter egg for Gears of War. He was wearing a Gears of War hoodie, had 4, and it scratched out, which would
Gears
equal
of War
5.
5. They teased Gears of War 5 on this hoodie that he was wearing on stage. So that's well in development right now, which suits the timing for the game too, because it should be well into development. So I'm going to cover some things real quick. We can give our thoughts. We're going to keep it moving along, and that's why people like this show. We keep information flowing quickly and efficiently. So they've got some backwards compatible stuff coming. Real quick, I'll run through a few of them. You got Morrowind, Conquer, Blink's KOTOR 2, Star Wars Jedi Knight, you got Star Wars Republic Commando, Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original one, Jade Empire, Panzer Dragoon, and more. And these games are significantly enhanced, as you guys saw the side-by-side footage. Were you surprised at how clean these games were, D?
Yeah, I really was. When they were doing the back and forth, I was like, what the hell, man? Like, the textures were just cleaned up, the aliasing, and just the fact that the developer doesn't have to do shit. It just runs on a program, and it just does it on the fly. That's really amazing. There's some real gems in there. Gem Empire, are you kidding me?
Gem Empire. Fuck, yeah, they even changed the name for the revamp.
You know what I mean?
Jade Empire, yeah.
Yeah,
BioWare.
And Star Wars, come on, like,
how are they doing this? Like, you notice how it was at the old 4:3 ratio at like 480p or whatever, and then you get the full 16:9 ratio with that up res. They dump a bunch of color in, all that like soft edges and that really nasty like TAA or whatever they're using. That looks like. Did you watch that, dealer?
It's just soft. It's just soft games. Like it's like a 19 times booster resolution on OG Xbox games. And I forgot to mention, because of course I'm doing 1,000 things. I'm keeping up with the phone, Twitter, chat, and everything I can do. I forgot to mention Shady was supposed to be on tonight. Good friend of mine, but his computer has AIDS. So I think he and his computer formed a relationship, and now it has AIDS, and now they both have AIDS. So hopefully he'll be able to come on next week. And shout out to Shady, man. Thanks a lot for trying to come on. Definitely coming on soon though. Red Dead Redemption is now X enhanced.
Woo!
If you haven't played this game, it might seem like something small to people that haven't played it or don't understand what it is. But the Xbox One version, the back and pat version, was already the best way to play it because it had the most stable frame rate, right? Then the X came out. It automatically got 16x texture filtering, all that stuff. And now it's full 4K or something to that effect instead of 540p or whatever it was. So it's a massive boost. Fonz, I know you're a massive fan of this franchise.
Oh yeah,
are you gonna go back and check this out?
You know it, man. I've been thinking about replaying this game anyway for a third time, and now that it's X enhanced, you bet your ass I will.
Okay, well, I think I put too much emphasis on that. But hey.
Fonz and I are like the biggest fans of Red Dead here on the RDX panel. Yeah, I mean, gosh dang, it looks great. It already looked good in backward compatibility, but it almost can pass as a current gen game.
So you've already booted it up, correct?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Actually, I'm looking at it right now. Now it does look great. Well, and you couldn't have picked a better game, honestly, to do this too.
Yeah, especially with Red Dead 2 coming out, perfect timing. They did the same thing to Gears 2. So you're getting a massive boost to Gears 2. I went hard on Gears 2, and all the DLC. All the DLC is also free right now, but that's the last Gears I really went hard on. I jumped back in on 4, 3. I kind of died out. There's a lot of stuff going on. But Gears 2, big fan requested game, finally getting updated. Games look way cleaner. Michael Ironside, you guys saw this little interview where, of course, he burped live on. But hey, they asked him, "Are you doing video games again?" And he said, "Well, this," and he kind of said, "We'll see how this goes." But that's kind of I don't know. There's all those rumors about Assassin's or Splinter Cell 2018, and I'm thinking, is this it, or is there an actual Splinter Cell game coming out this year? What do you guys think about that?
I think there's definitely a Splinter Cell coming out. Just they put so much emphasis of the show on Splinter Cell, and we're hearing all these rumors behind the scenes. It just makes sense. They want to get you back into the character, get you back into the lore, and then boom, drop the bomb on you at E3.
Yeah, and it's not a coincidence that he was on today, and they're going to have his character in Ghost Recon Wildlands. So I think it's safe to say that we're getting another Splinter Cell.
Yeah,
can't wait.
Yeah, I enjoyed Blacklist a lot, and unfortunately, it was that time right before the Xbox One launched, and people weren't buying games because they wanted to play something next gen. Right? We all kind of hit that phase a little bit, and Blacklist was definitely the last one they made. It was fun, it was great. Got it on the Xbox, and it was a good time. But hey, we got to give a shout out to over 300 people joining us live, guys. Thank you guys for showing up. We took a few weeks off if you just joined, but load the show back up when it renders to hear the explanation and what's coming up on the channel soon. FanFest, we do got to cover this because it's the first time they're releasing information about FanFest. So they're going to get 1,000 people into the briefing. Those tickets are free, but for the first time, they're charging for the normal tickets. They're $45. It comes with the same swag. The hard drive alone that they give you in the swag bag, they call it, which I hate, is worth more than $45. So I wouldn't say it's a bad deal, but going from free to $45 isn't ideal for many people. But for the experience, I mean, I don't know. Let us know in the chat what you think about that. I don't think it's a big deal. Yeah, I'm not going to FanFest. I'm not super into this, but like I said, we got people that are very hardcore that are. What do you guys think about FanFest?
Maybe they're charging so they can keep track of the tickets better this year.
Yeah.
Because they really screwed up last year.
They also said that when you get a ticket, though, you can spin to win a ticket or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's going to be a random draw. So,
okay.
Depending on what ticket you want, all that good stuff, random draw. So,
I think
I don't know.
Go this year. I don't know. I'm contemplating on going this year, to be really honest with you. If I can get my hands on some tickets, I think I'll probably go.
Yeah. I don't see the need myself, but hey, to each their own. So inside Xbox, I know we covered it a second ago, but I mean, for those that saw it, what were your thoughts? Were you let down? What'd you expect? Are you irrational? What's the deal? Because I already saw Top Dog saying it was trash. I mean, maybe you just didn't read or keep up with what it actually is or what it's supposed to be about. But if you read what it was supposed to be about, you know that it's nothing that it wasn't supposed to be. So who else watched it?
I watched it. The last half was really
slow, boring,
worthless.
No.
I don't know. Like the interviews and we're kind of, I don't know. I didn't. But the first 10 minutes were really great. The way they showcase that back and pat stuff was really cool. Who else watched it?
You know what? I think it was better than their first outing for sure. It's got room to grow. Obviously, I think they need to get the dynamics of the show down packed. I think it's missing a little spark, but I thought it was a lot better than the original show. I was gonna give it a 7 out of 10, just for the Easter eggs, just for the Gears of War 5 hoodie and just a little Easter eggs that they put in there. Now that the show's kind of settled in, I'll give it a 6.
Yeah. Well, it's about, I don't know, it's what I expected, honestly. I mean, I can't I don't know. It sucks to be informed, I guess. So I just I just look at these people, and of course they're all radical crackhead Sony fanboys saying it sucks so bad, but I don't understand what people expected. It's exactly what I thought it would be. So I can't shit on it, but I'm not like impressed by it. It was just something to kind of tune into, kind of like This Week on Xbox. They do on the Xbox channel every week. It's kind of like that, but with a better budget, right?
Well, the thing is these guys knew what the last show was like, and they're expecting, so much more in this second one, and everybody was telling them.
I don't necessarily think they're expecting anything. I think it's more like no matter what they would have shown, that people would have said it was trash and it sucked. So, especially the people who are known trolls and fanboys in the community, no matter what Xbox does, they're going to hate on it. So, inside Xbox, I don't really expect anything from it. It's just another way for them to get some information out there. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter, they were happy, like genuinely happy for these OG Xbox games being enhanced and announced for backwards compatibility. And, Colt and Fonz are huge Red Dead fans, so they were super excited about that. And I'm like, oh, well, that's really nice. I was on the phone with one of my friends, and they were like, oh man, look at these guys excited for old games. I'm like, who cares? Like, people's feelings for games doesn't affect me in any way, and people are happy for this. Let them be happy. It's not a big deal.
For me, Red Dead, I actually missed it last generation. It was just one of those, and I play all the Rockstar games. I love Grand Theft Auto. It was just one of those games I just missed. I don't know what was going on, and I just missed it. And, it becomes kind of old, and you just never get back into it. I knew it kind of got updated currently, but just the fact that now it's like true backwards compat, with all the Xbox One X enhancements. Now I'm really going to get into it. Of course, we got Red Dead Redemption coming out this year, the part 2. So obviously, I need to know about the backstory of the game. So it's exciting for me, to be honest with you. And I don't really play a lot of old games, but I'm excited to play this game.
I think Salty nailed it in the chat. He says Inside Xbox doesn't need a score, and that's why I didn't give it one, because it's just kind of a thing. Like All Day would say, this is Inside Xbox. It's an old show. It's doing the same shit, but it's just a little bigger, and that's exactly what you should expect. So I don't know. I just I'm not that sensitive.
I don't like their presentation. Like to me, it's like something like some old lady would enjoy. It's like, okay, and I go over to here, and they got the bright colors. It's like, I don't know, like that puts me off.
Energy.
Yeah, it needs a lot more energy. I don't know. I think they're probably trying to please just about every age group or something like that. But I don't know. It's just kind of weird that way.
But it is what it is, man. It's just a little show once a month, hour, 20 minutes.
And we got information that, we didn't know. We got some generally first-hand information on stuff, man. Like, come on.
Well, we also got almost 400 people watching already. Thank you guys so much. Hit that like button if you can. It really helps the channel more than you know. They did give us some good information about the spring update coming in the next 2 weeks, according to them. I'm going to raffle off some stuff here that's in this update, and I want to know what you guys think about this. So they got the 1440 desktop mode, which will super sample from 4K to 1440 while in game. This is for like monitors and stuff. It'll also render your dashboard at 1440p. You guys have heard a lot of this before because it's been in preview. It's finally coming to everybody, right? So 1440, you've also got FreeSync support, which I want you to go into more in a second. You've also got the auto game mode, or they call it something else. But what it is when you're playing a game, the Xbox will tell your TV, hey, switch to game mode, and it will do it automatically. We've all not been in a game mode sometimes, and we've forgotten all about it. And we're like, what the fuck? This game feels off. Some of us, ain't that right, Cole? So you've got auto game mode coming soon.
I'll stab you.
Really helpful.
I really will stab you.
I have to switch between game mode, turning it on and off pretty regularly. And sometimes I do forget, and I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with my game? And then I have to go and check. I'm like, oh, okay. So
going from like 80 or more milliseconds, of input lag to 20 is a big difference. Mixer, share controller feature. So when you're streaming, you'll be able to give control off to the viewers, and they can control your character and stuff in game, which is pretty cool. The closest thing to share play Xbox has. The ability to share Pixar video on your Twitter feed, stuff like that's coming. The light and dark theme is coming finally to the masses, which has been in preview forever. I'm not sure why. You've also got a high contrast option, a new Microsoft Edge browser on Xbox that gives you the ability to download certain files from your Xbox and use the File Explorer thing to use them. That's odd. On a console, you can download stuff now.
I was wondering, does that allow you to put like music into a folder and then play it?
I am not 100%, but I'm sure somebody.
That's kind of what I was wondering. The way they said you could do music and photos, right?
If it supports some type of zip, then I don't see why not. It has a media player inside of it. So
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I think it's intriguing. So you get a new Edge browser, and of course, like I said, out in a few weeks, according to them. So that was kind of the gist of Inside Xbox. They did show off the new Walking Dead game, which that's all pre-rendered, right? Nothing's in game that we've seen. I like the realistic take on the game, but it's all about what that game looks like when you're playing it. It's like people showing pictures of Kratos' face, and half the time it's an action figure, or half the time it's a poster or a pre-rendered fucking thing, and none of it's been in game. And I know that game looks absolutely phenomenal, but I'm just saying I like to know what stuff looks like in the game when you're playing it, not during a cutscene. When you're actually playing it, that's when things are going to be seen the most. So once again, I like to see what that Walking Dead game looks like. Fonz, what's your opinion on this update? Are you going to get any use out of any of this at all? Download some weird shit.
No, probably not. I'm not going to get any use out of any of that. I don't think.
What could they do to get you to get some use out of a feature that they could add?
I don't know about because like some of this stuff, what is it, FreeSync or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Like my TV doesn't do that. Like there's just things that I can't use anyway. So really a big deal to me. FreeSync.
It is worth noting though that FreeSync's only going to benefit games that have an unlocked frame rate, or maybe the game targets 60 and it drops to like 40 a lot, and it's in between a lot, which on the X isn't common anyway. Monster Hunter FreeSync will benefit that game because it's unlocked. The high frame rate mode's unlocked. It's going to be a lot more smooth, but often the frames are either locked to 30 or 60, or they're up near 60 close enough where you wouldn't notice it. I don't know. FreeSync's going to be cool, but don't expect it to fucking blow your mind right now unless you get more games that unlock frame rates,
Yeah.
No. What do you think? Go ahead.
There are still supported games. I know Hellblade is the next game coming up that supports variable refresh rate. I think it's going to make games look a lot smoother. First of all, you're not going to get any teared frames, right? So everything is going to be in sync. It's going to be smooth, and something that say it's at I don't know 44 frames per second. It's not going to play like it's at 44 frames per second. It's going to be really, really smooth. And it's just going to make the overall experience better. And you know what? I can't wait for this update because I'm planning to get a Q9. So I'm going to test it out and review it and whatnot. And the Q9, of course, has variable refresh rate and FreeSync on it. So not only will my Xbox be able to take advantage of this feature, so will my AMD GPU, my Vega 64. So I'm excited for the FreeSync TVs, and I think it's pretty amazing that a console actually has this cutting-edge feature in it. Like, something has to be said about that. That's amazing. A console has variable refresh rate, and something has to be said on these TVs too. The variable refresh rate mode on the Samsung TVs is 6.4 milliseconds of input lag. That's unheard of for a television, especially when you're talking like a 65, 75-inch TV. That's going to look incredible.
Yeah, it's going to look great. And I've already gotten 4 messages on Twitter. Well, how does this work? What is it? Well, I'm going to explain it to you super quick, which is something I'm good at. You're going to, your TV is going to have different refresh rates, right? Let's say 60, because that's the lowest common denominator for most people, which is why you probably won't see console games with 120 FPS options, right? Because most people will never see it anyway. So let's say your TV is refreshing at 60 frames per second. The game's refreshing at 45. That does not divide evenly. So in the middle of the game refreshing a new frame, your TV cuts that frame off because it's in the middle of refreshing. And that image gets cut. And that's why you got screen tearing. It looks jaggy, jerky, not clean. And what FreeSync is going to do is think of it as the GPU basically tells the television or the monitor when to refresh. Think of it that way. It's the easiest way to do it. GPU sends out a frame. It says, all right, refresh frame. I've got 45 frames a second right here for you. Refresh 45 times, and you get a perfect match. Very smooth. So 45 frames is going to look a lot smoother with FreeSync than it will today on a normal TV or whatever, right? Makes sense? So, that's the best way to.
Wow, that would have taken me like 10 minutes.
It would have taken me like 10 minutes.
That's why dealers' videos aren't 20 minutes on YouTube. Yeah. So you can get it done.
Yeah. So once again, guys, that's Inside Xbox. It's everything we learned. Like I said, I don't think it deserves a score. It is what it is. It's what I expected. It's kind of like a little thing, just like the old Inside Xbox. And I think Luca, unless you got anything you want to add, hopefully you do. Nothing made you mad, Luca? Come on. She's crawling up onto the desk right now. She's dead right now.
Nah, her PC got AIDS too.
Oh man. Okay, well, let us know when you come back, Luca. That'd be great. Spider-Man PS4.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm so sorry. My mic is still fucking up from last night. I'm sorry. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Any final thoughts on Inside Xbox? Anything there?
Well, like I said, people need to relax. It's really not that big of a deal. It's just a nice little thing for them to give us, the fans of Xbox, and by us, I'm not really a fan of Xbox. You know, I'm not going into that, but like, it's just a good way for them to connect with fans and let them know what's happening, keep them up to date with stuff. It's a great way to drip feed information. Like, as you were saying, we're going to get State of Decay next month. So yeah, I mean, it's fine with me. I don't see an issue, but you know that every single month they're going to do Inside Xbox and people will always say the same thing. Oh, it's trash. Oh, it's trash. Oh, it's trash. They go into it knowing what they're going to get, and then they still hate on it. And I'm like, what's the point of any of that, you know?
Yeah. So you say those people are dumb, basically.
Basically, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. So the fake trolls that are really just rabid fanboys that are always negative about everything, they're just stupid. So Spider-Man looks great. We can change the subject real quick. Xbox channel, Xbox guy through and through. But if anybody tells you that you're not allowed to talk about something like Spider-Man because you're an Xbox guy, they're probably not the brightest people around. Spider-Man looks great. I saw some footage today, released September 7th. And of course, once again, Luca, I want to hear your take on this because you've got those same idiots on Twitter pretending like X-Sluts are on suicide watch because they can't play Spider-Man, or most of them can't because most of us got a PS4 anyway. It gives me a reason to dust the fucking thing off. What do you think about those people that are saying that Xbox people are going crazy because they don't get Spider-Man?
I think they need to chill. A lot of Xbox dudes I know have PlayStations, so it's like not a big deal. And at the end of the day, it's kind of like, who fucking cares? Like, I just don't, I really genuinely don't get it. It's kind of like, you know, each game that comes out that's exclusive to PlayStation, they use it as a weapon. It's like a weapon. It's not even, they're not even excited for the game. It's like, oh, Spider-Man's out? Yes, fuck those Xbox.
That could have been the Amazing Spider-Man 2 that they showed, and they'd still be like, Spider-Man! But this one looks by far the best Spider-Man game ever. Which is
it looks great. You know, I'm excited for it. So, and I don't typically play, hold on, Cole. I don't typically play superhero games, which you are aware of, but it's like, I think it looks great. I'm excited for it. I saw a couple of Xbox dudes saying, oh, is this coming to Xbox? But it's like they were just general comments of people who aren't in the community, and they were just curious. They're like, oh no, it's not coming. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's like whatever. But then people are acting like it's the biggest deal ever, like, oh my goodness, it's not coming to Xbox. Fuck those guys. These guys are so upset. Nah, look at these guys, they're so upset. And it's like, no one cares. No one cares.
Nope.
We stopped talking about God of War when this announcement for Spider-Man came out. It's like God of War is now like a week away. And yeah, everyone's talking about Spider-Man, but you know, I'm predicting that God of War will be just a bit better game. I think it'll probably score higher. It'll be praised a lot more. Higher. It's a big game. Yeah, it's going to be huge. Yeah. And enjoy the ride for God of War as we, you know, anticipation rolls in as it comes. We'll be playing it soon, and then worry about Spider-Man, and then Red Dead 2.
Yeah,
people
Griffin
are crazy.
Chat says he's not a Marvel fan or a Spider-Man chat. Spider-Man chat. But yeah, the game looks great, and there's nothing you really take away from it. It's fine. It's fine to say that. You're not a neutral. You're not fucking a downer. You're just a real motherfucker. And you know what? Like I said, I ain't booted the Pro up in 6-7 months. And I'm ready to have a reason to do that. God of War is that reason. I'll play that for 14, 15 hours, beat it, and then I'll be right back on the X because that's just where I play everything. So, yeah, Spider-Man looks great, and the people pushing that narrative of everyone's freaking out because they can't fucking play Spider-Man. Trust me, people aren't as poor as everyone assumes, I guess. If they want a PS4, they'll spend $200 and go get one. It's not a big deal. So, yeah. You know, just go get a PS4 or see what happens in the future. What do you think about this game coming to Xbox in the future, potentially, Fonz? What are your thoughts on that? Because we do have people wondering.
It'll never come. I don't think it will.
No.
I just don't hear any rumblings about that. There's no rumors about that at all. It's the wording that they're putting out there doesn't sound like it's going to be coming to any other platform. It's strictly an exclusive to PlayStation. And
Insomniac said it's just going to be on PlayStation.
Yeah.
They like tweeted out, they're like, it's never coming to Xbox.
And Noob said Spider-Man is for swingers.
Nice. Very well said.
Yes, Noob. Another zinger. What were you saying, Fonz?
yeah, it's just one of those things where, you know, they've come out and said it, you know, so I don't understand why people are even complaining about it. There's exclusives on both sides that never come to the other console. Buy the console, okay? Stop complaining about this stuff.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that people are ignorant, like they don't understand the difference between first party, third party, second party, like buying certain IPs, owning certain IPs, commissioning certain IPs. They don't understand, because I think a lot of it does have to do with the fact that we're getting Hellblade and No Man's Sky. So now some Xbox fans are like, whoa, we're going to get Spider-Man too, because look at these games that are coming. You know what I mean?
You know what? And according to a guy that we, talked to, I can't say his name because I don't know if it's cool if this gets out there, but I don't think it's any real secret. He says that Hellblade and No Man's Sky, they're not the last. They're anticipating like Nier Automata and some of this other stuff, and even Nioh coming to the Xbox. So
Xbox,
as we said forever ago, and I'm not saying this is a fact, but this is apparently something that's being talked about. And in the pipeline, you could see a lot of these games, as we said forever ago, they're just third-party games that have not been locked down. They just came to that platform first for their install base and appeal. And that does not mean that they're not going to go over there and try to appeal to 40 million more people. That makes no sense. So Hellblade is another example of that. Go watch that trailer in the store. It's phenomenal. I can't wait to play it tonight. So, good stuff coming.
Speaking of exclusives to PlayStation, I just want to put this out there. If anybody hasn't read the article yet, there's an article out saying that God of War will make you a better father. So just
yeah, I saw that.
Was that before or after he murdered his family? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Hey guys,
I think this is his next family. He murdered half of it, and the kid's the only thing left. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Do you guys think that the Xbox One X has boosted the sales of the Xbox platform a little bit?
Yeah,
of course.
Definitely.
Do you guys think that there's a correlation with some of these games finally making their appearance on the Xbox because there's been like some extra attention back on the platform, and some of these devs are like, well, maybe we can take the time to move over to the Xbox. Because Hellblade, Hellblade was like an 8-month difference. Normally there's like a 1-year deal struck. Like if there was like some check written, who knows what, but Hellblade and No Man's Sky coming at like a weird time range, like not a set time, is kind of, I wondered about where that comes from.
It's nice that they're both enhanced.
Yeah. And that's because once you get that X dev kit, the X dev kit is also the S and the base model Xbox dev kit. They only need one dev kit for all 3 consoles. Push a button, go to the next, push a button, go to the next. So that's why you're getting, X enhanced games. And not only, no matter what some people want to say, like I think some guy was saying the Pro has 250 enhanced games or whatever. Those patches are far less substantial, as we have seen already. Like there's less benefits, less obvious benefits, and fewer benefits overall. That's why the patches are smaller on average. Whereas on the X, even if you do have less because it's been out for a year less, you're still getting more substantial patches on all the most relevant games. And then you got to add into the fact that every game on the X is enhanced already without a patch, because you've got the 16x anisotropic filtering. So you got 16x texture filtering on every single game unpatched. And you've also got far faster load times with the RAM disk and the faster hard drive, just to name 2 things. Every game's enhanced regardless. The whole console is boost mode, they said. So it's great. You got 1,000 enhanced games technically in the X.
That's 2 major things that often get overlooked. That 16 times texture filtering and the boost mode on every game without an on or off toggle switch. We see a lot of comparisons to multi-plat games like Far Cry 5 last week. Run at native 4K compared to the Pro, and then there's also those other visual benefits, like this nice little package that comes in if you're an X owner. It's cool.
Yeah, Lethal Pop has been playing the fuck out of Far Cry. He's the only guy on my friends list that's about caught me in kills and all that shit. So let us know what you guys think in the chat about Far Cry. We're going to talk more about that analysis here in a little bit. But
hey, random guy just said something about what I was saying about the X sales. I would assume the X sales have been pretty decent. I think they're seeing a nice return on them. Like I think we've seen them outsell the Pro in North America. So
badly. And
yeah, I think they're doing well, and I think having the X kind of help boost the base Xbox, and the S sales has helped a little bit. So that's kind of helped push that number up. If we're at close to 40 million, who knows? They'll never report, but it's good for games, and that's exactly what we want.
Interesting comment for you there. Enrique says you.
Right.
Yeah, Enrique, you're watching too much news, man. You got to take a break. God, that's such a stupid situation. So yeah, Colt, you're right. It's been outperforming the Pro pretty much across the board. Do you got anything you want to add on any of this stuff at all? You picking up Hellblade tonight?
I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up tonight, to be honest with you, man. I'm baby watching, so I'm probably not gonna get to play it, but I'm gonna pick it up eventually. I don't know. The X, honestly tell you, and I play on PC most of the time. The X is a great console. The fact that it's doing 4K in Far Cry, and if you went over and looked at Digital Foundry's latest video on it, they were saying that
we're going to cover that, by the way.
Oh, okay.
That's a topic. We'll save it for that.
Just the X as a whole. It's if you own a PlayStation 4, you should own an Xbox One X so you can have the best multiplats and then still enjoy your exclusives on your preferred platform. Because when it comes to the third-party games, I'm sorry, the PS4 Pro is good if you have VR, but for the rest of the games, there's not a huge difference. And the Xbox One X versions, it's just vastly superior to what the PS4 Pro is pushing out.
Yeah, I actually I posed a question on Twitter where I was asking, if you own a Pro and you own an X, like, why would you play any of your multiplats on the Pro, especially if you're not primarily a PlayStation gamer, you know what I mean? If you can go back and forth between the two. I just didn't understand why people would, choose the Pro over the X if that was not the preferred platform. If it's just oh yeah, I play on the Pro here, I play on the X here. It's just something I was really curious about, because I was thinking about one of my friends who has he has a Pro and an Xbox, but he plays a lot of his multiplats on the Pro, and I'm like, why don't you just play them on the X? I was confused. And then I asked, okay, if the PlayStation is your preferred platform and you only got the Xbox for exclusives, a lot of the Xbox exclusives that are coming out don't utilize the power of the X in the sense of graphical fidelity. So why would you buy an X? Why wouldn't you just have a base Xbox? And then that spun into an entirely new conversation. I got a lot of, I did.
So you said the Xbox exclusives don't utilize the X's power?
In terms of graphical fidelity, I'm not talking about how beautiful Sea of Thieves is in terms of water and stuff like that, but I mean graphically speaking.
Oh, you're talking about design,
design. I meant design.
Sea of Thieves and God of War,
yes, like Gears and Halo.
Yeah, well, Gears looks fucking phenomenal. I don't know about that. I can't.
No, I meant newer games. I'm not talking about because Gears and Halo came out.
I'm talking about the theme and the art direction, going towards a more photorealistic look. I got you.
Yeah, so that's what I meant. So I was just I was really confused. I was really curious, and then I got a lot of backlash, fuck you, Luca, I just prefer PlayStation. How dare you? And I was like, okay, I'll just mute this conversation.
Good. Have a preference. Just don't preach.
Yeah.
Don't preach your preference. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know, man. A lot of frauds on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy in here saying there's a guy in here saying that multiplats sell 3 to 4 times more on the PlayStation. It's like, where are you getting 3 to 4 times? Maybe double. Yeah. Maybe 1.5.
Not even double in most cases. So there's been games that have outsold on the Xbox. Which is crazy. Even games like Arrow, that developer was blown the fuck away because his game on Xbox outsold the PS4 version. Oh, it just depends. There is no one right answer here. There's no.
Look at a number before you make a claim. I mean, it's not that hard. Just go grab a number somewhere and then say something.
Well, some of these guys, they hang out with really stupid people, and they listen to their shows, and they're just misinformed all day. And we like to use numbers and facts and reading and shit. And some people don't do that. So,
I mean,
speaking of,
it takes time.
yeah, it takes time and stuff. But yeah,
and work.
It is what it is. Hey, we also got almost 500 people watching live, guys. We appreciate it. Let's try to get up to 300 likes for the end of the show. It really helps more than you guys know. As we go into the next topic, not necessarily about this one game, but what this means for developers and how they choose to enhance their games and why they would enhance their games in the first place. So you've got news of Bulletstorm, full clip edition or whatever, getting an X1X enhancement. Now, many of you right now are thinking, isn't that the one that was made by Epic back on the 360? Where you kick people across and use the whiplash and drug them back, and you got scored based on how you killed people. Yeah, some people really liked it. But it's such an odd game to get an enhancement, right? And then I'm thinking, man, these games, it's no coincidence that you got both Doom and Resident Evil 7 enhanced the week of this massive spring sale, right? You remember me saying that I feel like they're probably trying to hit this milestone for Resident Evil 7. A day later, they announced that they finally hit their milestone for Resident Evil 7, passing 5 million units sold. So I'm thinking, okay, who knows how long they've been sitting on Resident Evil 7, the enhancement. It didn't just get done magically during this massive sale. Same for Doom. So they are literally spurring massive sales using these patches, and I think that's what they're trying to do here with Bulletstorm. I don't know. Makes sense, Fonz?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah, I mean, it takes their time. They have to dedicate a certain number of people to do that enhancement for the X or the Pro, and they want to make a return on investment. So timing it with like a spring sales, I would do that if I was in that office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, some teams are doing it with one person.
And these X enhanced games, yeah, these X enhanced games have been selling. We've been watching like spikes of sales for games for getting the enhancements. I mean, it's happened to the Pro too, I'm sure. I've been watching it on the Xbox.
Yeah. So I don't know, Fonz, what's your take on this kind of strategically releasing patches to spur sales?
I'm with Colt 100%. They're doing this with the spring sales. It makes sense, man. That's how you're going to get, the most profit out of it. You tell people, hey, look, it's enhanced now, and people are going to buy it. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've got yourself considering buying games that just got patched, right?
Oh, of course. Of course. I'm all about that power. People that say power.
Yes. Power matters.
Let me tell you guys is something out there. I put this up on another podcast the other day because I was with some PlayStation dudes and a bunch of good dudes, but they were talking about how power didn't matter. And I just had to put it out there. You buy the next Xbox that comes out, and let's say it's got photorealistic graphics. It's beautiful. It's going at 60 frames. And then you have the PS5, and the PS5 only comes out with no better performance than the PS4 Pro. Okay, we're talking graphically and CPU. Everything's the same. Well, now, would you not be upset? Of course you would, because power matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I know who you're talking about. Some of them people are fucking not. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, I mean, I understand why they would say that because they're not thinking, and that's their own fault. But anybody says power doesn't matter. I mean, why did I have a GTX 1080 then? Why did people buy 1080s and Titans and 1070s? Why did I have an 8700K?
Why did Sony and Microsoft make mid-generation refresh consoles? I don't know. Power doesn't matter.
I don't know.
I mean, it's not the be-all end-all, but it's a big deal.
Of course.
Right?
Every time a new generation of consoles come out, what's the first thing anybody does? They look at the graphics. That's what they look at. They go, wow, look at what that looks like. It's stunning. They don't look at it and go, wow, the gameplay mechanics look awesome. That game looks like it'd be fun. No, they look at the graphics, period. Tired of that whole thing that people are saying power doesn't matter. Guys, at the end of the day, yes, there's games that may not look that great that are fun and you love, but power matters.
Yeah.
D sold like 7 goats to buy that Vega GPU.
Well, 7, man. I gave them 7 plus my favorite goat, man. Fucking Jimmy. Oh, I fucking miss Jimmy, man.
Yeah, and then if you take a look at like a game like Dragon Age 2, which was on the 360 compared to Dragon Age Inquisition, it's like night and day in terms of how it looks, which it's a very beautiful game.
Hey, we gotta give a shout out to Halo Storm in the super chat real quick. He just wanted to give a shout out to Microsoft for the Blinks to Time Sweeper upgrade on and introduction of the OG Xbox stuff. He says it was one of the first games he played, and of course he got to say PS Battlefront better than all PlayStation exclusives. Hey, that's an opinion. I'll say that, but everybody's entitled to their own opinion. That's the great thing about them. So thanks again, man. Thanks for the support.
The same people that say power don't matter, which is just asinine, are the same people that say that size don't matter. So, you know, they're usually the people that are in the deficit that are saying that to you know.
So the Sony guys and Dee's girlfriend. No,
Come on.
Oh man, I had to
just
do
stick
it.
to the goats.
I'm sorry, I had to do it. But yeah, Fonz, that's a good point, man. All that stuff is ridiculous.
And somebody in the chat's asking, well, what's the the big deal if your console has power but you're not utilizing it? Since when did the X not utilize its power? Just look at the multiplats. It's utilizing its power, guys. Stop with that. Just stop.
Yeah, that's obnoxious.
Yeah, it's a slaughter out there. I don't know.
You can't have that. You can't have this game because I have it. I'm like, well, we have a PS4, and I'll load up my PS4 and play God of War next week. I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I'll load it up in September and I'll play Spider-Man. But the rest of the time, I'm gonna be playing every multiplat, every Xbox game at its best it can be on a console with my favorite controller and everything. It's the way to go. That's why I've been saying, as I joke, that the Xbox One X is the best place to play. So,
well, don't say that because we're downers, man. So don't.
And enjoy what you're playing on. If you love PlayStation, if you're super excited about Spider-Man, say, hey, Colt, go buy a PS4 so you can play Spider-Man. You're gonna love it. And I'll say, all right, sounds cool. Loan me $200.
And that's the thing. People get mad because I'm saying power matters. Guys, I'm not a freaking Xbot. I'm not a pony, whatever you want to call them.
He's Captain Neutral.
Yes. He's neutral.
But the thing is, my PS4 Pro is sitting there just waiting for that God of War, just waiting for that Spider-Man. They're beautiful games. I got nothing against it, but that's why I own a Pro, because power matters. That some of you out there that own a Pro, that's why you bought it, right?
Destroyed. Oh,
Funds for president.
Well, not quite that hard, but yeah, destroyed pretty hard.
Well, I mean, yeah, okay.
I don't. The people that say power don't matter, I'm sorry, but no one takes you seriously, and I think you know that. I think you remember when people were bragging for 2 years about 3 Blades of Grass and Grand Theft Auto 5. I think you remember that the difference was 600,000 pixels on the base consoles. Now it's 4+ million plus additional graphics effects. I think you remember a lot of this stuff, not including the other benefits and the other features of the X. So just, it is what it is. Take the L. You only got another year or two to the PS5, and we'll see what the Xbox 2 does, and we'll start this all over again. It's going to be great. So once again, power does matter. We all know it. That's why there's PC gamers for the most part. They want the best performance. Tell a PC gamer power don't matter. He'll fucking piss on your face. That's just how it's going to go. He's going to go R. Kelly.
That's not
so. I don't know. I want to talk about Far Cry 5. Apparently, this game's doing phenomenally. It is crushing Far Cry 4. It is the fastest selling game franchise and fastest selling game in the franchise history. It's also over double the number sold in the first week compared to Far Cry 4. At 5 million copies in the first week. Half of the sales were digital. So once again, there's a lot of people like digital doesn't matter. And then you've got the second biggest launch for Ubisoft behind The Division. And Fonz just beat the game, right?
Yep.
Give us your thoughts, man.
Far Cry 5 is a fantastic game. I thought it was great. Graphics, awesome. The sound was a little lacking, but anyway, I'm not going to go into a full review here. But I like the game, it was fun. It was a Far Cry game. What more can you say about it? You got the randomness, the craziness, all the stuff you expect from a Far Cry game. I mean, what other game can you walk around with a bear or a cougar and just let it go to town on people? I mean, my cougar was eating people, eating them.
Oh my gosh, I still haven't even done that yet.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, man.
And it only took
great.
About, a little over 20 hours to beat. And I did a lot of side missions too. So it's not a very long game. I mean, you can make it as long as you want, honestly. There's so much to do in this game.
I have over double the time in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you're looking for a game that you can beat in roughly around 20 hours without having to go through so much, it's a fantastic game. The mission structure is great. I think the fact that they're so varied and you don't get the same thing you're doing over and over like you did in some other games like Assassin's Creed Origins. You don't get bored. It's just there's a lot of stuff to do.
You're right. We don't want to turn it, like you said, into a review or anything.
The co-op's great.
It's a great game. Co-op works great.
It's really pretty.
It does look great too. But my only complaint is the fact that when you do side stuff, which is how you activate the main missions, they lock you into doing the main missions just by doing side stuff. It just happens. You have no choice. But other than that, great game. I think I gave it an 8.7 on Twitter. That does deserve a score. And Top Dog here in the super chat real quick. He says, feels good to be the only person to play the best game of the generation. What is that? Omega VR? I don't know what that is, Top Dog, but I'm sure and I'm glad you had fun, man. That's great. That's what gaming's all about, brother.
You got another guy in chat, Rosenkrantz or something, keeps saying over and over how the multiplats are outselling the Xbox multiplats. It's like, dude, how many consoles do you have out there on the PS4? Come on. I mean,
well, let's destroy that real quick. The Wii destroyed, the PS3 and Xbox 360 last generation in sales. Was it better? To some, yes, but to most, no. So who gives a fuck? How about that?
Like Rosenkrantz and Guildenstein?
It's just like this constant people going, stop having fun on Xbox. Stop it. It's like, calm down. Just calm down a little bit. Have some fun. Far Cry is a fun game.
Hey,
there you go.
Far Cry 5 looked better on the Pro. I would have played it there.
Yeah, Fonz used to play multiplats on the PS4.
Yep.
But he didn't decide to lie to himself. He didn't decide to ignore the obvious. So
well, the X wasn't out yet,
Yeah. So but I'm saying when he picked up the X, yeah. Far Cry 5 X1X analysis, Digital Foundry. We can run through this real quick. Native 4K. Me and D had a little discussion about that. D, what are you going to take the L on this? You going to eat some more cereal, bro?
You were right. You were right on it.
All right, thanks. We got that out of the way. It also runs at mini high PC settings, right? So they said they tried to run this on a GTX 1060 and an RX 580, and they could not hit the same settings at 4K 30 as the X is doing. So once again, a lot of capability there.
Go ahead. I gotta say though, it really is miraculous what they did with that game, because that game on the regular Xbox One, it's 900p, and usually those games that are 900p on the Xbox
1440 by technically 1440 by 1080, which equals out to almost 900p, huh?
Right. Yeah. Which they usually don't get up to 4K on the Xbox One X, and that game got to 4K, and it holds a steady 30 frames per second, and the visuals, like, honestly, tell you, compared to my PC version, it's virtually the same apart from the frame rate. Like, it's an excellent job they did with that game, man.
Yeah. Buju Ram in the super chat has something interesting to say. He says power doesn't matter because the PlayStation is the weaker console this time around. Stop it, because the beginning of the gen, all we talked about was power talk, whatever.
And that was a 1800p difference. This is a much bigger number.
Yeah, I don't know, Buju Ram. I don't know if that's sarcasm or what, brother. But either way, we appreciate the support in the super chat. We always do. So once again, what they say the pro ran at again, D 1600p,
16. I think it's 1620p or something.
1620p. Okay. I've also got to give a shout out to almost 500 people watching us live, guys. Thank you so much. Hit that like button. We appreciate it. So yeah, they do confirm the X is outperforming mid-level GPUs on the PC side. That's not me or fucking Colt Eastwood making that up. That's literally a link. Digital Foundry video, as usual. A lot of these idiots that make videos on people don't know these things, and they think you're talking out of your ass. And it's not my fault. I'm just more informed than they are. So I'm just going to say that. Go check that stuff out.
And we did tell you guys initially that people were saying, oh, it's like an RX 580. And we said, listen, it's not like an RX 580. First of all, it has a lot more bandwidth. And that was the first thing that they said in this review of the game, of the engine. They said that the bandwidth is what's really making this game excel ahead of these other GPUs. And
yeah, it's got the bandwidth of a GTX 1080, 326 gigabytes per second. It's not a low-end PC. The CPU is the least capable part, but the GPU power is slightly over medium-end GPUs like 1060, 580, but it's got the high-end memory bandwidth, so it's a mix, and that comes together to create something that's that you can't beat for $500. I'm fucking sorry, you can't. It's great. It's a good option. Luca, how far are you into Far Cry? You've been over there sleeping again. What's going on?
I just it doesn't have to be like this, man.
She pulls out little nunchucks.
Basically, I'm not super far. I'm in Faith's region right now. I'm really enjoying the game. I was playing co-op with one of my friends a couple nights ago. It's great. It's beautiful. I'm having fun. I was excited for it as soon as I saw the plot was going to involve a bunch of cultists. I was like, oh, I'm down for that. So, the villains are great. They're all very interesting. It is kind of jarring how it's like you were saying, you're in a side mission and then you'll be pulled into a main mission. And I was just like, what the fuck? It's happened to me twice already. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on.
Who the fuck is tranquilizing me?
Basically. And it's the most random moments too. I was just buying some ammo for my gun. I don't know what I was doing, but I was at the store. I back out and then automatically I get knocked out and I'm like, what the fuck? What?
Yeah, you got tranked. They got you in the neck.
Yeah, it happens every time you fill up that bar, that meter on the top when it gets to this little circle. Then a minute later or something, you'll get tranked. So you have to watch it.
It's so weird, And then I remember this other time I was I think I was on the phone or something. I don't know what I was doing, but then I put it down and automatically I'm out. And I'm like, what is going on? But other than that, the little story beats are very, very interesting. It's just jarring to be taken out of the moment like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
especially when you have so much freedom in the game, it lets you do whatever you want. And then at that moment, it's like, nope, we're pushing you into a cutscene and making you do something. And it's kind of rough when the games do that.
Yeah, as soon as I was attacked by a turkey, I knew this game was going to be the game of the year. You know what I mean? But definitely a great moment.
You're liking it. You're liking it.
I'm enjoying it quite a bit. It's great.
That's great. That's good.
For me, one part that was jarring for me is when I unlocked Boomer and we went out on the road and some fucking rednecks fucking killed him. I was so upset and I kept resetting my my PC, saying, "Oh no, he can't die," only to realize that he comes back after a while. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Oh my god, yeah. So the big question here is, Far Cry 5 versus 3. What's better? And I think it's mixed. I think the open world experience is better. The co-op, it's obviously got co-op, the possibilities, the weapons, the upgrades, the customization, the vehicles, the flying, the world.
I give the edge to 3 only because the story was way better.
All that stuff that I just listed is better than 5, but Voss is such a
iconic
character, and I feel like he was in your face more or something. I don't know. I beat it forever ago, but
also you were able to talk in that game too.
Exactly. I really felt for Jason Brody. You could see his decline into being a savage, his decline into insanity as he started taking those drugs. He was really losing it and you could feel for him, And I was just he was an actual character and I don't it's first of all, what's the point of customizing your character if you can't see your fucking character?
Yeah, you only see him when you die or in co-op.
Exactly. And I'm like, what is the point of any of that? The character's not voiced. What's the point of being able to choose to be a man or a woman if it ultimately doesn't matter because you're not even a person? I feel so disconnected from them. And I feel like the game would have been much stronger if they had just, had you play as a set character. You know what I mean? As an actual person.
And I think it also suffers from the Rise syndrome. Some of those characters look awful alike, man.
And then most of the NPCs are very similar. And I don't like that there's no bullet damage. That does bother me.
No bullet damage.
In the sense that, I was standing over a guy, I shot him in the face, nothing happened to his face. It's just
Was he one of those methed out guys?
No, it was just a regular guy.
I think the bullet damage in Far Cry 5 is great. I'm taking an LMG and I'm peppering them with a few shots and they're going down.
Yeah.
No. She's talking about there's no gore. You can shoot.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I had it.
In Fallout 4, you shoot someone's face off. It gets, you know what I mean?
It rips off of their body and sticks to the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
What about your cougar eating fawns? Is that graphic?
No, it's not graphic, but he's sitting there eating. He's eating on people.
Yeah. So people in the chat, it's Far Cry 3 is better, blah, blah, blah. There is no one right answer. It's all opinion. That's the best part about it. Somebody says, should we wait for a sale? No, I would not wait for a sale. Look for anything to play. It's a great game. 8.7 out of 10 to me.
Both.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great game. I got some quick ones I want to rattle off real quick. Hellblade launches tonight. It's an odd launch because usually they'll launch Monday night for like the midnight release, right? But this game technically comes out on a Wednesday, which is rare. So, yeah, it launches tonight at 11 p.m. for me, Central Time. The Division getting its X1X enhancements this month, and Red Faction Guerrilla remaster announced. Red Faction Guerrilla. That's I don't know if you guys remember that game, but it was pretty damn cool. The destructibility in that game was insane at the time on the 360. So, any thoughts real quick on that? Anybody else play it?
I played it before. I don't think I'd go back to it, to be honest, though.
Yeah, I think it's just a nostalgia type thing. Well, I know what you are going to play, D, because you're a fraud. No Man's Sky next, coming to Xbox One.
Oh yeah, can't wait.
I mean, D must be one of those wild Xbox guys who's hyping the game now. Right?
Oh man, it's gonna be lit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Luca, this is another one of those games where frauds in the Sony community are saying that all Xbox guys are saying No Man's Sky is good now and hyping it up, and we can't find anybody who's saying that. I even replied to a post and asked who is saying that, and they didn't reply. Go figure. This is kind of the same thing that's happened with Spider-Man, but to a more ridiculous degree. What's your take on this?
Well, I just find it very confusing. Like, I get it, you know, on both sides. It's kind of crazy how people act. However, when the news for No Man's Sky was announced, I kept seeing a lot of people I was following saying, oh man, those Xbox are going to hype this game up. Watch these Xbox guys hype the game up. And I'm sitting here looking through my timeline. I'm like, I see no one hyping this game. So I make a post saying, okay, link me to where Xbox guys are hyping the game. I didn't get anything, you know, like, and then
they just sent it to like a Toys R Us website where a guy's like, is this coming to Xbox?
What the fuck? And it's like, well, Luca, I'm sure that they will. I'm like, listen, if people are being hypocrites, I will say something, but no one's being a hypocrite. Even like people you would normally expect to, you know, pull some bullshit. We're like, nah, I'm not interested in this game. And I'm like, oh, okay. But it's just weird to me that they'll take this false narrative and just run with it. They just take what they think is going to happen and then act like it's actually happening.
Because one radical says it, they're going to hype this up. Like someone sees that and says, look at all these guys hyping this up like it's happening, you know?
Yeah. And then also I added, I quoted that tweet and was like, okay, link me to Xbox guys hyping the game who bash No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, you can't? Okay. Well, Halo Storm in the chat, super chat. He says, when can we expect backwards compatible games to hit? KOTOR 2 was lit. We appreciate it, man. That they start hitting the 17th through the 26th, and Gears and Red Dead for the 360 are available today, I do believe, along with the new Splinter Cell Ghost Recon DLC. So, yeah, in the next week or two, you should have access to all of these games, which is pretty cool if you're a KOTOR fan. Obsidian, makers of Fallout New Vegas, made Knights of the Old Republic 2, so you'll be able to play that soon. But yeah, No Man's Sky coming to the Xbox One, apparently, and I reported on this years ago. I literally have a video about this where it was leaked in the Steam source code, a mention of an Xbox version. It's finally hitting. It's interesting it's taking this long. But yeah, big update coming to the PS4 versions and PC versions, and the Xbox version is releasing this summer as well. And we already covered the bullshit with the radicals saying Xbox guys are hyping it up. Releasing for $49 though. Do you think that's acceptable, Colt?
$49, yeah, $50 or whatever it's going to be
for No Man's Sky, a 2-year-old game.
I think
it's not acceptable. Okay, that's the
I know they added a lot to the game, and I do honestly feel bad. I jumped on the train couple years ago and kind of bashed on No Man's Sky for not delivering like people do with Sea of Thieves. But I honestly felt really bad for Sean Murray and his team because, I mean, they kind of had to go into hiding. And I know they all they did their thing and they worked hard and they thought they were delivering something really great. And
they lied.
Yeah.
Colt Eastwood, the nicest guy on YouTube.
I mean, give each developer a 10-lie cap.
I don't know. I just...
Like, they lied about the game completely. Yeah, that's why Sean Murray went into hiding. He was like, gotta go. He took that money and ran.
Well, a lot of people thought that
deliver on day one, and it was glitchy as hell.
Well, a lot of people thought that Sony's marketing deal was pressuring them to push the game as bigger than it was and push it out within that timeline when they couldn't get all of the other features in there. I don't know if that's true, but it just went really bad. And I mean, there's a big difference between like Cliffy B's like Lawbreaker, drop with his game, right? It's a different kind of mess up, but I don't know.
Top Dog mentions Elite Dangerous. He says it's nice with the AI computer. I actually mentioned Elite Dangerous a long time ago and said this is really how it should be done. It took them a few years to stumble into the first alien contact of that game. That's how big the game is. Yeah. Elite Dangerous is the real fucking deal. And it's going to take you 10 hours to master the controls on a ship by itself. Like, it's one of those games that for the most hardcore guys that just want to lose themselves, it does most everything you want it to do, and it's quality. It's also X enhanced, I do believe. So, Elite Dangerous is a competitor, I would say.
I have that on my PC and in VR. Holy shit, mind blowing, man.
Yeah. So I mean, No Man's Sky. Salty says $15 max. I know that's a little low, I guess. Maybe 20. But then again, even 30, I would be like, all right, that's a little more reasonable. But 50, I don't know about that, brah.
No.
Even at 30, who the hell's buying it?
Nobody. That game is dead in the water.
Well, the thing is, there's so much bad stigma behind the game. I mean, like Lucas said, when you come out with a game and you just flat out lie to your customers, I mean, you lose me right away if you do that. I'm never buying that game. It could be the best game ever right now, and I wouldn't buy it based on that alone, on principle. I just wouldn't.
I don't see that game doing good unless this update completely makes it a different game. I just don't see it selling well.
But it's not.
There has to be a reason why it's that expensive.
Well, the update is supposed to change a lot. It's kind of like when publishers put in the DLC and they just keep the price high. I would say it's closest to that. Ghost Recon, that game's still pretty expensive off sale. And they just keep adding all the DLC in, and it keeps the value up. Apparently, that's the way they kind of pursue it. But either way, it is coming to Xbox. If you're looking into it, I thought it'd be a good Game Pass game. A lot of other people agreed, but we'll see what happens. Sea of Thieves stats real quick. This is the fastest selling new IP this generation on Xbox, according to Microsoft, despite the haters, even though that was just us agreeing with the consensus. Aaron Greenberg says the Game Pass downloads do not count as sales, which is common sense. Anybody who implied that is just a moron. He also says Xbox guys, oh, wait, this is what I said. Xbox guys, when we were talking about Game Pass, and everyone, because you remember, we're the downers, right? Even though we just tell the truth about Sea of Thieves and all that good stuff. We just keep it 100 because, after all, people don't subscribe for us to just lie to them. We give our takes, and people like it or don't. But several people have referenced like my review, and I would just tell them to look at the like and dislike ratio. It's much higher than I thought it would be. And I actually agree with that review 1,000,000% to this day. I have around 40 hours in the game. And every single thing I said in that review is just facts. I would encourage some of you that didn't finish the review to go back and watch it, because I encourage people to try it. I told them my opinions, how it was fun, but it was just hollow. Just stuff that a lot of people come to realize since then. I've gotten several DMs of people saying, I went back and uploaded your review and I got more time in it. Stuff like that. It was just, my opinion, nothing more. But people have a problem with that. They say you got to play something for 100 hours before you can review it. And to them, I say you're just not, you're not thinking about things correctly there. So it is what it is. When it comes to us being downers, we just try to keep it real and give our opinions. Everyone else, we encourage to do what you want to do. But people that are downers, to me, they're the people that shit on Game Pass for no reason. When the exclusives were announced to go to Game Pass, and you had people in the community talking negatively about this. And remember me, I'm sitting there up front like, no, this is fucking great. This is pro-consumer shit. So because I release a not good, great Sea of Thieves review, people are like, oh, he's turning. I do one thing. But I've been there all along the way, with nothing but positivity for the most part, because they've been nothing but pro-consumer.
Here's the thing, dealer. If there was 12 things to be negative on, you would do so if you had to. That's the point. I mean, you're just keeping it real. And if people can't handle your real opinion, then that's on them.
Yeah, and it's so odd to me that anyone would think dealer's not an Xbox guy. It's like, what?
I mean, clearly, I got like over 110,000 gamer score. You can add me, I space dealer, space II. That's not the most in the universe, but I clearly play. I beat Far Cry. I beat all the new games on Xbox. I haven't bought a game on PC in forever.
Yeah, it's like people think if you're being critical of your preferred platform, then you're just hating excessively, because people have spent so much time in this negative space that they can't tell the difference between genuine critique versus hatred.
Well said. Yeah, there's so much negativity in for just the Xbox alone. And when dealer says Sea of Thieves wasn't all it was cracked up to be, you know, it's like, it's like,
and Salty says negativity gets views, so that's true. But you know, like I said, I mean, if something's not good, it's your duty to tell people that something's not good. And I'm not saying the game's not good. There's fun in the game. I would not say I hate the game. I even said this in the review that a lot of people didn't finish.
But this is actually something I did want to speak on real quick. So Dealer and Coat get a lot of hate in the community, and a lot of it is just based off what people have heard about them and not things they've actually said. It's a lot of misconstrued information. But I would like to point out that the people who make videos on Dealer and Coat have under 1,000 subscribers, or just have 1,000 subscribers, and they make videos on bullshit and talking about other people and just hating on other people. And drama does bring views, but there is a threshold, and you'll reach a precipice where you can't go any further, and people are only going to come there for your drama and for your hate. But then there's guys like Dealer and Coat who just do videos on gaming news, and there's no bullshit. And it's just like, those Dealer has got 20,000 plus subscribers, and Coat has 30,000 plus subscribers, and they're not spending their time hating on people.
We're playing games and shit,
and bashing.
Yeah, I know.
And that's why they're doing well.
Yeah, Dealer and I talk about that because we want to talk about the industry and the games and get the information out there and get people talking. About a year and a half or 2 years ago, on my channel, I don't get rid of this stuff. I have really negative PS4 stuff because I had a totally different attitude back then, and nobody's watching, and I've tried to change my attitude, and I've come to realize that people like me a lot more when I'm not a jerk.
And
I mean, it's the same exact thing with me. You go back in time, I'm calling people fags, and I'm really derogatory, and I'm no worse than people on the other side that are some of the biggest guys in the crumb side shit in my old videos. But I'm just saying that was me years and years ago, and people want to take it and try to use it against me. I'm sorry, but you missed. Try again.
And then it's like, there's room for growth for everyone. And after a while, if all you're doing is putting out negativity, that's all you're going to get back. You can't expect people to support you when you're just spending all of your time hating so much. You know?
We didn't get to where we are just to which I'm not saying is anything. It's squirting the piss in the wind, really. But we're just saying negativity is not what did it. Negativity is not what built this chat up right now, or the people watching, or those hundreds of likes right there. It's nothing. It's just keeping shit real and building a community. And once again, we appreciate all you guys for showing up as you have. So the point of me bringing this up, which just spurred off into some shit, it didn't even have to go. My point was, for all those people that are calling people downers now because we're just giving our opinion on Sea of Thieves, those same people were shitting on Game Pass. They were shitting on Xbox Scorpio. They never wanted it. When they heard about it, they didn't want this thing to come out. And I was the guy really hyping this thing up. That's how a lot of you found this channel. They were worried about Game Pass and Microsoft's money. And I'm saying, don't worry about Microsoft's money. They could be taking an L every year. As long as you're getting the service, this is pro-consumer as fuck, right?
Yeah.
So that's my question to some of those guys that were worried about Game Pass. Are you still worried about it now, saying as Microsoft have already said this is one of their biggest new IPs ever, and they've gotten all these fucking people playing the game and stuff? Like, are you still worried about if people are going to spend the money to buy these exclusives? Because Sea of Thieves is doing really well. That's something you can't deny.
Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is Game Pass making them the kind of money that they can secure a new studio, or they can get their studios working on something new. That's what we want from Game Pass. Even if you only like 1 or 2 games, or if you play the 2 to 3 or 4 exclusives a year on Game Pass for $120 a year, you're getting a good deal. Sorry, I hope it helps. That's what I'm saying.
What are you saying, D?
No, I think it is helping them, because if we're looking at the Sea of Thieves numbers now, they've clarified that these sales numbers are not what's included in Game Pass. To be honest with you, it surpassed my expectations. It doesn't matter on what I think of the game, just the premise of it having Game Pass, it being in Game Pass. I thought they would sell less copies, but no, they're still selling the same amount of copies, maybe even more on this game, and they still have all those people in Game Pass. So all that extra money in Game Pass can be used towards a new studio or towards new games. So I think it's a win-win.
Easily. Yeah. And, you know, we don't spend too much time on this, but yeah, for those still playing Sea of Thieves, have a blast. We've never said anybody having fun is damage controlling by saying they're having fun. I've heard that on Twitter. Never, ever said that. So, you know, have fun. If it's for you, it's for you. And for those that commented on that review, which I'm not ashamed of in any way, I'm actually quite proud of it, you know, and said, hey, I respectfully disagree. You know, that's the kind of stuff we do like, discussion, and that's perfectly fine. We're not all going to agree on this stuff. So, Fonz, something you don't agree with, microtransactions. Shadow of War removing these microtransactions this July. They basically say it took away kind of the story of building and finding your own captains out in the world, and then kind of took an element from the game. And they're removing them this July, man. What do you think about that? What do you think?
I think their explanation is just a lie. I think honestly, it's because of the outcry from the gamers. It's because of government intervention. Looking into it, at least. See, the one thing we don't want is government intervention in our video games. But that's why I implore people that if you don't like certain things in your games, speak out. Things like this do matter, and it will change if you speak out. If enough people speak out against something, change does happen. And you're seeing that now. You're seeing it with Star Wars Battlefront 2. You're seeing it now with Shadow of War. Their explanation is just a cop-out.
The Xbox One in itself, the reason that so many great pro-consumer policies have hit is because of people speaking out.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And on that topic that you were talking about, Game Pass, love it, guys. I loved Game Pass. I thought it was so pro-consumer before they added all the exclusives. Now that there is just like, man, sprinkling that frosting on top. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And for me, a PC gamer, it's good that I can play on my Xbox One X and on my PC. You know, when I'm at home, play on the PC. If I go to the office, continue my game on the Xbox One. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Well,
wait, you have an Xbox at your office?
Yes, I do.
People are getting up there.
I don't know if Miso Newbie is talking about like microtransactions in COD or whatnot. But COD is such a juggernaut, and I mean, it would take a lot of people to complain about that game.
And plus, it's Activision; they don't give a backflipping butt fuck how much you hate them.
Could be that too. I mean, look what they did to Bungie.
So it is what it is. They are removing those microtransactions. I beat Shadow War, but there's two endings, kind of like Arkham Knight, and I'm going to go back when they're going to change up that grind, that 20-hour grind at the end, apparently. Some people paid a lot of money to get through that a lot faster, and they're going to change that up, add some stuff in, and that's when I'm going to go back and get that second ending on Shadow of War. This July, I will be doing that because I enjoyed the game. It came out before everything else, but I had fun with it. God of War, performance mode.
Yeah.
I'm going to run through this, too, because we got a few things to cover with this, but it won't take too long. The game is checkerboard 4K, as we know, but it also have a performance mode, according to the developer. When asked to iterate, because some people are saying it's 1080-60, I haven't seen that confirmed. The developer was asked several times, and all he would say is smooth. He typed it out on Twitter over and over. Smooth. I don't know what that means. I do know that Horizon Zero Dawn has a performance mode that's 30 frames per second lock, just to keep it up, I guess. I don't know, even though I don't think the frame rate drops are bad in the resolution mode. But, yeah, performance mode, God of War would be cool. But to my knowledge, it has not been confirmed by that same developer on Twitter to be a 60 frames per second experience. But we'll know very soon. Reviews hit tomorrow, right?
God of War isn't like really very open. It's more like probably Shadow of War, like big areas that are kind of interconnected. Do we know that yet?
I don't think it's a massive open world. I think it's like hub worlds, maybe.
Yeah.
That's just my guess.
I mean, Shadow of War didn't offer 60 frames mode on these consoles, but man, those 60 frames modes are so cool, though. Like
they are, man.
They are.
Fonz is checking it out firsthand with Rise of the Tomb Raider. Now he's starting to go through it at 60.
Yeah. It's amazing. If God of War is anything like that, man, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for those frames. So
yeah, looking forward to it.
I think it'll have a 60 frames per second mode, though, to be honest with you.
Think so?
Yeah, I can't see him describing 30 frames per second smooth, to be
But
honest
it's
with
kind
you.
of odd that he was so vague about it, unless he can't talk about.
Because you saw that too, right, Luca? Where
I saw that.
You know,
I saw people running. I saw people running with the 1080-60. I'm like, no, he didn't say that. So,
but here's the thing: if he's going to put smooth like that, okay, then what does that mean out of the performance mode? It's janky as shit. I mean, it's running at 15 frames. Come on.
You know what? Maybe it could be because high quality motion blur does take a hit to performance. Maybe they uncheckerboard it and it's still capped at 30, but they add a really fucking badass motion blur onto it, like Agents of Mayhem on the X. That game looks insanely smooth for a 30 FPS game, and it does not take it away anything away from the game when it's 30, but it's got motion blur like that. It's phenomenal. It looks great, and it's super smooth. So maybe that's their implementation. I don't know, but we will see very soon. God of War review predictions, Luca. The reviews are supposed to hit Thursday, I think, something like that. I want to know what everyone thinks this game's going to do real quick. Join along in the chat if you happen to give a fuck.
92 or 93?
Yeah.
92 or 93. You know?
92.
Yeah, I go at 92, man.
What can we say, guys? We think it's going to be high quality. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, hard pressed for them to find anything to complain about a game like that. I'm sure it's well polished, and I think the combat looks super awesome. I've heard people complain, even PlayStation guys, only one weapon. I'm like, are you kidding me? That weapon looks awesome. It's like Thor's hammer, but it's a glowing axe. And
yeah, I mean, one weapon in Rise didn't really take away from the game. Would it be better with more options? Sure, but I enjoyed Rise. Rise also didn't have jumping, just so you guys know. And it was a good time. Rise was great. So yeah, I think IGN's going to give it a 9.7.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. But keep in mind, they gave Uncharted 3 a 10, and everyone knows that Uncharted 3 did not deserve a 10. So I like Uncharted a lot. I've said that a billion times on the channel too. So we will see. What about you, Fonz?
What about me for what?
The score. What score are you going to give it?
Or I think it'll get probably like a 97 average.
Ooh.
I think it'll be
like on Metacritic?
Yeah, I think it'll be really high.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's some Nintendo shit right there.
I just think because of the hype, because the way the game looks to me anyway, I'm hyped for it. I can't wait for the game. So, get to fire up my Pro again.
Yeah, get to spiders and roaches and shit out of there and have fun, man. Hey, you know what's good news as well? Terry Myerson basically got fired. He's the asshole that's responsible for not only holding back Xbox when he was able to, but restricting the Windows Store. That's why he's the reason Windows Store sucks so bad. He stopped the Xbox division from basically taking over the Windows Store and making it good. Because he thinks Xbox and Windows, he looks at Xbox as kind of like a little fucking pet side project that's kind of like scum a little bit. Like, he's just not great, and nobody in the industry that I've talked to likes him for that reason. So he's been let go. So that's good progress there. State of Decay 2, the developers talk about Game Pass day one. It's very rare that we hear developers say, yeah, Game Pass day one, this is what we think. They say it's great. They say it doesn't hurt their game in any way. As a matter of fact, it helps them get a massive community, and they're after a big community with this game because they're going to support it with big DLC, stuff like that. So they say it's not a bad thing at all. They're happy it's in Game Pass. Imagine having 1 million players play your game on day one, like no problem.
Yeah, they're going to get that community, man. They're going to get it with that game. The first game was awesome. You know that, Dealer. Me and you put many hours into that first game, and now that we're going to be able to play together on that game, man.
Yep. And they said all they want is they want this game to perform like the first one did. The first one did 5 million. We will see. But a lot of people don't know the first one was that popular. 5 million copies sold. Great game, just really, really held back by that CryEngine. It used CryEngine, which I didn't find out till later, which is the ugliest fucking engine I don't know how they made CryEngine look that bad, but it ran like it didn't look that bad. That's what I will say.
It ran like an Atari game, man. It was terrible, but I still love the game.
It was great. It was great. D, I want you to lead on these PS5 specs, okay? So apparently these specs have been leaked on a developer website, a credible one where specs were leaked before. It's not a site where anyone could get in. You actually got to pay, what was it, $1,000 to be... Yeah, right? So it's legitimate. It's a real site. They say it's 10 teraflop Navi. It's going to have an 8-core Zen. It's going to have baked-in VR tech, and dev kits have apparently been sent out there. I've said in the past, I think these consoles will be 8 to 10 teraflops because if you remove the X and the Pro, that's about, you know, a proper jump when you're talking generational. So that sounds about right, man. The CPU is the big story here, though, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it looks like I was a little bit early with my Ryzen predictions on the Xbox One X. PlayStation 5 is gonna get it. But yeah, it makes sense because this generation, really, we've been held back by the CPU. So it's about time they dump those Jaguars. And of course, Ryzen, we're on second generation of Ryzen already. So I don't know if they're going to use a second generation or because by the time that comes out, third generation Ryzen will be out. And even if they don't, even if they use the first generation, it's going to be fine because
it's light years leap.
Yeah, it's going to be much better because they're going to be concentrating 1440p 4K the next generation anyway. So 1080p, I'm sure they'll do 1080p if you got a display, but they're really going to be concentrating on 4K. You know, and I think they're going to get 60 frames per second with the specs that have been leaked out so far. And semi-accurate, they're, you know, what can we say? Everything that they've had before and their leaks have been accurate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they've been way ahead. They told us about the Xbox One. They even told us about Nvidia partnering up with Nintendo, and a lot of people laughed them off, and you know it was true. So
yeah, this is a good thing. It's about PS5, but of course we are always thinking about how this relates to Microsoft because they are on the same coin. They're just opposite sides, right? So that means the next Xbox is going to have a minimum of around 10 teraflops. It's going to be using next generation Ryzen cores, which, as me and Colt have covered, is going to give you some far superior animation quality, more physics-laced clothing and objects on characters, better destruction. You're going to have higher frame rates. More games are going to support 60 FPS options, though you will have some games at 30 because they're going to max out the CPU in some areas. But it's going to look nuts. Physics is going to be off the chain. That's going to be one of the biggest selling points of next-gen physics. It's going to be cool, man. So, I mean, that's going to be, what, a year or two, you think?
I think it's accurate. I think it's going to come out next year. It makes sense for me, to be honest with you. You got the PlayStation 25-year anniversary coming up. What bigger way to set that off with the announcement of the PlayStation 5? And let's be honest, the PlayStation 4 Pro, it's not really moving big numbers. It's kind of a failure in some regards, especially in comparison to the Xbox One X.
I don't know anybody who's
no,
really yeah, the Pro is amazing. You know, I haven't heard anybody really talk like that.
And it would be 6 years since the PlayStation 4 launched, which is time enough to move forward.
Oh, yeah, of course. Hey, shout out to almost 500 people watching live. Hit that like button if you can, guys. We really appreciate it. Colt, anybody else got any opinions on the PS5 thing? Fonz, what are you looking for?
I think the PS5 thing, all I'm looking for is a better CPU. I want these games to run great. Stop with this dog shit CPU that we have now. Of course, it's changing. But the whole 20 teraflops or whatever the hell they were saying.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah,
that's bullshit.
I don't know who reported on 20 teraflops or anything. Yeah, it's not happening.
It's not coming out in 2018 either, guys. Mark this down. It's going to come out November 2019. Mark it down.
Or 2020. No earlier than 2019.
And all PS4 games need to be playable on this PS5 because there's been some great games this year.
Yeah.
So don't leave your fan base hanging on that one.
Yeah.
If I can just touch a little bit on it, I think Sony will probably support the PlayStation 4 for another 2 years after the PS5 release, and then they'll dump it and move forward. And I think Xbox, I think I'm pretty sure they're going to come out 2020. I think they're going to wait a year. And even if they do come out at the same time, although the specs will be similar, if we're going to base anything off of Microsoft's track record, I think they're going to customize it. You know, they're going to have some custom shit in there. We know they're working on the ray tracing stuff with DX12, so they'll have a lot of shit baked in there.
They're also working on direct physics with DX12, DX12 powered physics engine type physics type technology, right? So
you know
they got a lot of stuff going on.
You know how we've pretty much seen pretty much all the games that Sony has to offer for the next couple of years. They've been, pushing them since 2 years ago or whatnot. They're still got games coming out like The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima and stuff like that. Well, I think the PS5, what Dee said is right on the money. They're going to be working with the PS4. You're going to be able to play the games and stuff on the PS4 as well for another couple of years. And that's how they're going to, just ease into the PS5. But the PS5 itself is, going to play all these games with the extra bells and whistles and all that stuff. It's going to be great. And I think that this E3, that's going to be Sony's surprise. They're going to come out and announce it for next year.
Yeah, I said that earlier too. I said don't be surprised if PlayStation announces it at E3. I think they will, and if they don't, I think the next logical place would probably be PSX.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, maybe PSX makes a little more sense, but definitely the C3. I don't see it being announced this year, but you just never know, man. The stuff's being done that's never been done before, right? So I don't know, guys. Once again,
announce it a year prior. That's their track record anyway. They always announce it a year before, So
Sony announced the Pro just a few months before it came out.
That's one of those,
They announced the PS4 a few months before it came out. March of 2013 came out in November. Usually it's the same year because they don't want to kill sales in the meantime. Xbox already knew that we're releasing an S for the customer that wants that for that money. But we're going to tell you about an X so you can't get pissed that you just bought an S, right? Which was smart, right? They also knew that sales were not going to catch the PS4. We've already discussed this. It's not going to happen. We're going to be as transparent and pro-consumer as possible. We're going to tell you about this thing a year in advance. And we're going to say, hey, don't buy a Pro that hasn't been announced because they found out this was going to be at E3. Buy an X. Hold off a year. Don't get a Pro. Get something that actually does some good shit, some better stuff. So I think that's the only reason the X was announced that early.
Some people forget that the Slim came out a month before the Pro, I think it was. They weren't at the same time, right? That same year in 2016, they had the Slim, and then the Pro came out right after that. So both consoles had their pre-versions, the base model, the Slim, which replaces. That was a surprise to me when I went to a Microsoft store and they call it the Xbox One. They didn't have the letter S on the box. I'm like, oh, duh, it's the replacement for that crappy Don Matrix
us all to buy one too, right?
Right. I called that thing the original, the Don Matrix box, because every time I think of that base Xbox One, I think of Don Matrix standing there at that reveal with his hand out like, look at this.
I made it myself. Good job, Don Matrix. Good job.
That was horrible.
So those are the topics, guys. This is one of our longer shows. We had a lot to say, and we legitimately want to thank you guys for showing up. Those that did show up, we know today ain't really hopping that much on YouTube or Twitter or anything, but we still wanted to say thanks for showing up. Those that are here, you power the show, and we do appreciate it. Once again, if you missed it at the beginning, the PC situation will be fixed here in the next week or so. I had to go get an entirely new PC. Parts kept failing on the other one. That was a brand new PC in itself. So I got a different one. It's ordered. I'm using a laptop. That's the reason we didn't have it last week. And we barely got it going the week before on Lucas' channel. So I've got that figured out. We should have another RDX next week. But there will not be any normal videos until I get the PC back in the 8700K rig because I just refuse to lower the quality. I'm not going to do 720p on this laptop and render it to YouTube. It's just not going to happen. So
in 15 hours,
again, yeah, no, it's just not. So thanks for sticking in there. Thank you guys so much to those that bothered to check out the show and hit that like button. It really helps a lot as we go into outros. Colt Eastwood, good show, man.
Yeah, it was fun. Actually, I was surprised we went such a long time. What was it, an hour and 45 minutes, and it was really fun. It's good to be back. You can find me on Colt Eastwood on YouTube. Add me on Xbox Live at Colt Eastwood. And we'll talk.
Hey, we can get a lot of people
by the way, I'm
mad.
I'm working on a video this week, which Fawn's really inspired about does power matter? And I'm going to kind of address that about why we do appreciate power and new tech and why we like shiny new things. So keep an eye out for that later.
That's good. That's good. I
always like to inspire you, Colt.
He does. Fonz is good. And Fonz was on fire tonight with the preaching and the facts and all that good stuff. So it was a good time.
Yeah, it's going to take us a show or two to get kind of back in the groove. We're a little rusty, okay? But once again, we get people to get mad because the show's not 2 hours long. So this is probably our longest. And to the patrons, of course, I just told you I haven't been putting out content. Just bear with me, everybody. Once again, we appreciate it. Fonz, man, where can people find you, man? Good show.
Yeah, Jay Fonzarelli, Twitter and YouTube. And yes, I make videos occasionally, guys. Sorry, but 40-hour-a-week job, sometimes a little more. Plus, I've got kids. I got kids, people. And then, I like to game. Unlike a lot of people out there, I like to put in time to game rather than just talk about games. I love to play them. So I got to put in time for that. They could also find me Thursdays on the Saltiest Gaming channel. We got the Saltiest podcast. So check me out there too.
Salty. Luca. Good shit.
Yeah. Good shit. You guys you guys can find me Link me rich. You guys can find me at the Ash and Luca on Twitter and YouTube and Xbox Live. Great show.
All right, and D Batch, good show, brother.
Yeah, man, good to be back. You guys can find me at D_Batch on Twitter and D Batch on YouTube, and I will be baby watching and having sleepless nights.
Oh, I feel so sorry for you, man. Just
the dark
how to
ages
get a hold
is
of
what
me.
I call it.
You need talked off the ledge. You know how to get a hold of me.
This is my new reality.
Oh my gosh.
That's Colt's reality every day on Twitter.
Hey.
Every day he's got some guy coming up to him, you know, like some idiot that misquotes a video or something. It's ridiculous. So, once again, thank you guys so much. Hit that like button on your way out. We're out, guys. Thanks.
Later.